You may or may not know this, but Judah and I had a stillborn baby girl, Aaliyah, in the end of August this year, so about 10 weeks ago. As I have been going through this process of healing and grieving, I have found it helpful to hear other people's stories who have gone through similar things, and also to see how they're recovering mentally, physically, all sorts of stuff. It has really helped me feel not so alone, because if you are going through something like this, you are not alone. I have gone through this. We have also had 2 miscarriages before our stillbirth, and we don't have any living children yet. But we definitely live in hope that the Lord will bless us with a child or many children here, earthside, one day. So it's all in His timing. But that said, Judah and I are still grieving. And this is my 10-week postpartum update, I guess you would say. I use that word postpartum because I did deliver a baby. I was in the hospital. I labored for 12 hours, a long time. So she was 24 weeks. So she was little, about 1 pound and 3 ounces, but I did deliver a baby and she was beautiful. We don't know what caused the stillbirth. She was perfectly healthy, everything looked good. I had a very healthy pregnancy. Hopefully we'll find out why, but for now I am doing the best I can, doing some research, but there's only so much you can do. So all the things I'm going to tell you are going to fit into one of 3 categories. Those are mentally, what I'm doing to help recover and get myself in a good place, also spiritually and physically. These are the things I have been doing to mentally recover and to put myself in a good place after our stillbirth. The first thing I think is really important for me and for others who are grieving to do is to feel. Feel the emotions, feel the grief, feel the pain and the anger. Just let it happen. Sometimes I think we're scared that maybe it's wrong, but it's not. Just let yourself go through that, and it is healing in a way. So that's something I've been letting myself do, is to be sad, and if I don't want to do anything a certain day or for a certain hour or whatever, I just let myself feel that way. If I do feel myself kind of sliding into a really bad spot, like just going deeper and deeper and deeper, I will try and pull myself out of that by going and doing something to kind of distract myself, or by talking to someone and encouraging them. I've actually found that encouraging other people is a really good way to help yourself out of a dark spot. The second thing I do is to cry it out. It kind of goes with the first one. Mostly I do this with Judah at night before I can go to sleep. It's just like something hits me really hard and I just have to cry it out. He's been awesome about it. He just lets me cry and he comforts me. The third thing, which is kind of strange, is that I have been still feeling the desire to prepare for a baby. When I was pregnant, I did not have this super intense nesting instinct. I didn't go buy all the things, and I didn't do that. I was still preparing very studiously for the baby, but I wasn't overly crazy about it. But now it's almost like I'm more, I don't know, I feel like preparing more so. I'm not sure if that's because my body birthed a baby and now it's thinking, okay, let's get with the program, or maybe I just I have this hope of more babies, and so I'm continuing my journey of being ready for babies. So anyway, the next thing I do is to seek out others' stories. I've been listening to other people's stories, watching them on YouTube, and just telling them that I know how they feel, or at least to a certain degree I do. Also sharing my story, because that helps me when others share their stories with me, so I make sure that I'm not keeping my story to myself. For me personally, it doesn't really hurt to talk about my baby or to share my story, because the hurt is always there, and talking about it, while it does bring it to the surface, it actually will help me heal. So that's kind of an interesting tidbit you might want to know. The fifth thing I've been doing is to remember and write out the story of my pregnancies and the birth. So I did this for all 3 pregnancies, the miscarriage and the stillbirth. I wrote out all the details I could remember about pregnancy, how I was feeling, what was said, and then how old the baby was when I miscarried or delivered. These aren't stories I am really going to share with other people besides my husband, most likely, but it gives me relief to know that I have those memories on paper and I'm not going to forget them. We also have footprints from Aaliyah, and we have those up on our fridge, and I also have a picture of Judah and I and her after delivery that I want to put up on the wall. I'm not sure where or how yet. So those are the things I am doing to recover mentally. Now I'm going to cover the things I'm doing to recover spiritually and to get in a good place in my walk with the Lord. Judah and I are Christians, and we have an amazing church family and an amazing family on both of our sides. So that's been really helpful in coming around us and supporting us spiritually and encouraging and teaching us through this time. The first thing I have been doing is praying more. This kind of came a little bit naturally, I would say, because when I first found out that we were going to lose the baby, I was just crying out to the Lord in prayer, like constantly. It was just, that's where I went. I had nowhere else to turn. And so that was a really, really good thing for me to do. And I'm so glad the Lord was gracious and allowed me to do that. And so that's kind of carried over into these 10 weeks following. I've been praying more often, just asking the Lord for results, for us to figure out what's wrong, and also for another healthy baby. But it's also bled into things like praying that I would be a better wife to Judah, and praying that we would be healthy, and that, you know, we'd find land, and that I would do well at work, and I'd be able to encourage everybody. Like, prayer is just a wonderful thing. So that's something that I've been doing more of lately. The second thing is I have been realizing more and more my own weakness as a human and God's power as the Lord of the universe. Most women, they get pregnant and they have a baby and everything is fine. But for me, I've been pregnant 3 times, and 3 times I have not been able to carry the baby to full term and have a healthy baby, basically. So it's really humbled me. I have been doing all of the things that I have been supposed to be doing. Like, I've been eating healthy and all these things, all the works, you could say, and it still has not produced the result that I wanted, a healthy baby. So that really, really has taught me that the Lord has the power over the womb. He has power over life and death. So He is in charge, and I am just learning to trust Him with that. He knows what's best for me. And that kind of leads into the third thing, which is I've been focusing more on some different scriptures that I hadn't really paid a ton of attention to before. So some scriptures such as Isaiah 54, 1-3, I've just been thinking about a little differently now that I've been through the loss of 3 babies. This one, for example, is, "Sing, O barren one who did not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, you who have not been in labor. For the children of the desolate one will be more than the children of she who is married, says the Lord. Enlarge the place of your tent, and let the curtains of your habitations be stretched out. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes. For you will spread abroad to the right and to the left, and your offspring will possess the nations, and will people the desolate cities." So I really should do some more study into the context of these verses, but it gives me hope, and just the reminder that the Lord, even if He doesn't bless us with physical children, maybe we would adopt, or maybe He would just let us be very, very hospitable and let people come over to our house, enlarging our tent, so to say. There are many, many ways that we will be blessed, even if it's not through physical children. Some more verses are Matthew 7, 7-11. "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks it will be opened. Or which one of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good gifts to those who ask Him?" So that's a good reminder that even though Judah and I do and would love our babies very, very, very much, in comparison to the Father's love for us, that looks like evil. So that just reminds me that even though this is very, very hard and it's a result of the curse, death is a result of the curse, the Lord is using it for good, for our good. He is giving us a good gift through this somehow. And I'm sure we will see that more clearly down the road. So those are some of the things I have been doing spiritually to improve and get myself on a good track. Alrighty, the last section I'm going to talk about is what I'm doing physically to recover from having a stillbirth. So I do not know why these miscarriages and stillbirths keep happening. There's nothing obvious. No tests have come back saying anything is wrong. So I can't be super specific in like fixing, like, say, my thyroid or whatever. But I have been trying to improve my overall health to prepare for future pregnancies if the Lord wills, and also just to be my best self, I guess, as I'm living and working, because I want to be able to serve people well. So the first thing is my mom and I, after I had the baby, we kind of put together this little recovery plan. It included things like eating more probiotics, so I had myself eat some yogurt every day that had living cultures in it, and I also made some sauerkraut, so I have some sauerkraut with probiotics in it every day. That's going to help heal my gut and improve my immunity, all sorts of good things. Probiotics are really good for you. I've also been drinking a lot more bone broth, specifically from our pastured chickens. I love to just throw a whole chicken carcass, the bones, in the crock pot, let it simmer for a couple days, and then drink that bone broth. It's got a lot of collagen and some really good vitamins and minerals, so that is super good for healing. I've also been eating a lot more vegetables. My cravings have been weird. I haven't really been craving sweets at all, which is awesome. So I just kind of eat lots of vegetables, and it's putting me in a good place, I guess. Another thing is I've started looking into different supplements because I know my diet is not 100% what it should be. And as far as moving my body goes, after the birth, I took it super easy for a couple weeks. Even though I wanted to get up and do things, if I did, I would get pretty tired. My body was worn out. It had given birth to a baby, and I was mentally and emotionally very worn out as well. So after a couple weeks of a lot of bed rest, a lot of just resting and taking it easy, I did start with some yoga, some gentle stretching, things like that. And then I eventually progressed into working. I went back to work at about 4 weeks afterwards, I think, light duty, and my work is very physical, so that was kind of like a workout in itself, and I was getting stronger from that, and now I do full-out workouts, which leads me into the next thing, which is tracking how I've been getting stronger. I will write down like how many push-ups I can do, how long I can hold a plank for, and then the next time I do that, I will note my improvements, which is really encouraging to see that I am improving, I am getting stronger. The last thing I have been doing physically, which is kind of partly mentally too, is to get back to work and to be productive. So this helps my mind be in a good place. I'm busy, I have things to do, things to think about, and it's also helping me be strong and to be productive with my body, and I can make some money to help save for another baby or for a house or for land or just for life in general. So yeah, those are the things I'm doing physically to recover from a stillbirth. Like I said at the beginning, it really helps me to connect with people who have been through similar experiences, and I hope that I can be able to help them out. So if you have been through a similar experience, if you've had a miscarriage or a stillbirth or lost a baby, please let me know in the comments, and I will definitely be praying for you. Or if you know of a friend or someone who has had an experience like that, send this video to them. Maybe it will help them have some ideas of how they can recover from that. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting me and praying for me as Judah and I go through this journey. We really appreciate it. Please hit the like button if you appreciated this content, and remember to work hard, love your people, and never stop learning. I'll see you later.